Are we on?
Yeah, we are on.
Big news.
Got the rules for tonight up now. So
Cool.
I don't know if you got to read them, bro, but okay, this is the deal. Anyone who says fake news or hoax, anyone who says COVID, Corona, or some kind of or says a racist equivalent, so China virus or something like that.
China virus counts as a racist?
Racist equivalent.
Come on. Be a long night.
All right. Let's see what else. Anytime someone says China, Russia, Ukraine, or Mexico, anyone mentions Obama or Hillary, anyone who says an intelligible sentence, if Biden numbers his points, number one, number two, whatever it is, Trump mocks Biden or anyone else, a moderator interrupts a candidate or Trump, or says a moderator interrupts a candidate or Trump interrupts a moderator. If anyone is muted. So these are the rules. I think it gives us a pretty good basis to go off of. So here we are. Here we go. Now we're on camera.
Yo.
A candidate.
Is anybody watching?
I'm going to get some people on. Hold up.
I saw some people watch that new YouTube video. It was cool.
Yeah, I was seeing that. I think the clip thing. Were you able to figure out how to get the sections and shit of it, or?
No, I tried. I had it so that I had that part. Like I was trying to chop out the part, like in the middle there where I was checking the levels.
Right.
I was trying to edit that out.
Yeah.
So I had it like snipped out. Then I couldn't figure out how to recombine the two sections.
Yeah, well, our what do you call it, the Twitch thing that we did about AOC's on Twitch got up to like 46 views now, so pretty decent for us.
Yeah.
But anyway, with these, I think with what you were talking about last time with Twitch and them not being as strict when it came to the copyright shit. I think that's probably all right. So here we go. Let's see.
Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, and ABC News election headquarters. Now reporting, Chief Anchor George Stephanopoulos.
And welcome back to our special coverage of tonight's final presidential debate, just moments away now, and that is the scene at Belmont University in Nashville, where President Trump and Vice President Biden will take the stage for 90 minutes and take questions from moderator Kristen Welker of NBC News. Just 12 days to go in this election. Almost 50 million Americans have already voted, a sign of the times, in a presidential race transformed by the pandemic and a sign of how engaged Americans are in this race. Also a warning sign for President Trump. He's behind in the national polls right now and the key battleground states. The pool of undecided voters is shrinking by the day. He's got to do something tonight to shake up this race. Our chief White House correspondent John Carl is on the scene in Nashville.
And, George, when the president is behind, he goes on the attack. I expect that is what will happen here. I think he will go after Joe Biden in very personal ways, going after his family, going after his son Hunter Biden.
Are you expecting like a desperate-ass Trump today?
Regardless of whether or not there are any questions that lead him in that direction, I think he will do that.
Do you think he's going to change up anything?
George, the president complains bitterly about the fact that the microphone will be muted for some of the answers, for some of this. But his advisors actually think that that will be good for the president. What they really want to come out of this debate is for Joe Biden to make a mistake. And they believe that that is more likely to happen if the president is constantly interrupting him.
Didn't he invite Joe Biden's or Hunter Biden's like friends, business partners?
I'm not, I mean...
Well, Joe Biden
I don't know what he has up his fucking sleeve. I mean, they're gonna mute him, which is gonna piss him off.
Giving the president any big openings here. He knows that Donald Trump is going to come after him with personal attacks against him and his family. They are braced for the fact that this debate could get ugly. And Joe Biden is going to push back against personal attacks, but he really doesn't want to get into the mud with the president. That is easier said than done. But instead, Joe Biden's goal here is really to stay laser focused on the president's handling of this pandemic and to try and talk just directly to the American people. So when Trump comes after him, Biden is going to argue this isn't about his family, this is about your family and what voters are looking for in their next president.
But Mary, Biden has admitted he lost his temper a little more than he wanted to at the last debate.
And George, I have to tell you, I have talked to Biden supporters who are not happy with the tone that they heard from the former vice president. He was very blunt, often very harsh. At one point, he even told the president of the United States to shut up. I think it will be interesting tonight to see whether he softens his tone at all against the president.
Okay, the debate is about to begin. As we said, the moderator will be Kristen Welker of NBC News. 6 big topics on the agenda tonight: fighting COVID, race, national security, climate change, and presidential leadership. Let's go to Kristen Welker.
Good evening from Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Kristen Welker of NBC News, and I welcome you to the final 2020 presidential debate between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Tonight's debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. It is conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Commission's health security advisor. The audience here in the hall has
She's on
promised to remain
MSNBC, right?
silent. No cheers, boos, or other interruptions, except right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't watch cable news. She's not on network TV.
And President Donald J. Trump.
Yeah. Oh, he took off the mask.
What do you mean? Isn't he supposed to? You're at the podium.
Oh, I thought he was gonna go up to Trump and take off the mask. Whoa.
And I do want to say a very good evening to both of you. This debate will cover 6 major topics. At the beginning of each section, each candidate will have 2 minutes uninterrupted to answer my first question. The debate commission will then turn on their microphone only when it is their turn to answer. And the commission will turn it off exactly when the 2 minutes have expired. After that, both microphones will remain on. But on behalf of the voters, I'm going to ask you to please speak one at a time. The goal is for you to hear each other and for the American people to hear every word of what you both have to say. And so with that, if you're ready, let's start. And we will begin with the fight against the coronavirus. President Trump,
trying to see.
Oh, coronavirus.
The country is heading into a dangerous new phase. More than 40,000 Americans are in the hospital tonight with COVID, including record numbers here in Tennessee.
I'm a little bit ahead of yours.
And since the two of you last shared a stage,
network TV is.
16,000 Americans have died from COVID.
I don't know, I guess I
So
don't need to
please be
watch that.
specific. How would you lead the
I mean, I
country
can't hear
during
yours,
this
so I
next
do.
stage of the coronavirus crisis? 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So, as you know,
Let me see how far apart I am.
2.2 million people modeled out were expected to die.
Mortality rate.
We closed up the greatest economy in the world in order to fight this horrible disease that came from China.
Here, tell me.
It's a
China.
worldwide pandemic. It's all over the world. You see the spikes in
Hold on.
Europe. And
I want to see how far ahead I
places
am.
right now. If you notice,
Very big spike in
the
Texas.
mortality rate
Very
is
big spike
down
in Texas.
85%.
So like 2 seconds.
The excess
Right, let's
mortality
go.
rate is
Oh, wait,
way
no.
down
Actually,
and
you're
much
way
lower
ahead of
than
me.
almost any other country.
It just said
And
mortality
we're fighting
rate.
it, and we're fighting it hard. There is a spike. There was a spike in Florida, and it's now gone. There's a
All right, well,
very
which
big spike in
stream are you
Texas.
watching then?
It's now gone.
I'm on ABC.
There was a very big spike in Arizona. It's now gone.
It's on
And
NBC
there is
News.
Some spikes and surges in other places. They will soon be gone. We have a vaccine that's coming.
I was in the hospital. I had
It's
it.
going to be announced.
They gave me a therapeutic.
You notice
A therapeutic.
the mortality rate is down 85%.
For a short period of time.
The excess mortality rate is way down and much lower than almost any other country. And we're fighting it, and we're fighting it hard. There is a spike.
Okay.
There was a spike in
Wait a minute,
Florida.
now this one's
It's
different
now
too.
gone.
Yeah,
There
this
was a
one's
very
like
big
way,
spike
way
in
behind.
Texas. It's now gone.
All right. Let's see. If you go to the trending tab, there's NBC, USA Today, C-SPAN, Bloomberg, CBS, ABC, PBS.
Yeah, I'm on the
I got
NBC
better
one now.
very fast, or I wouldn't be here tonight. And now they say I'm immune.
All right.
Whether it's 4 months
I'll
or a
watch that one.
lifetime, nobody's
Now
been
they
able to
say I'm
that, but
immune.
I'm immune. More and more people are getting better. We have a problem that's a worldwide
I'll put it
problem.
on the.
This is a
I'll put the
worldwide
TV. I'll
problem.
put the
But
stream
I've
on
been
the TV.
congratulated by the
Okay.
heads of many countries
kinda
on
weird,
what
but-
we've been able to do. If you take a look at what we've done in terms of goggles,
It's weird.
and
Network
masks
TV is
and
ahead
gowns
of
and
the
everything
stream.
else.
But
Right,
the
I
stream
would've thought it
is
would
ahead.
be-
Ventilators. We're
I
now
would've thought the same
making
thing.
ventilators all over the world, thousands and thousands a month.
Okay. Which one are you watching?
All over the world. It will go away,
If you
and as I
when you
say,
Google it, it's the second NBC
Yeah,
one.
but what's the news? NBC
Okay.
NBC.
live
Vice
final
President Biden,
2020
to you,
presidential.
how would you
Yeah,
lead the
live
country
final
out of this
2,500
2020.
watching.
You have 2 minutes.
2,005
200,
2,500.
2,500.
Americans
Yeah.
dead.
Okay.
You hear nothing else I say tonight. In fact, not
Biden just start
saying
talking?
Yeah.
I take no responsibility initially.
Okay.
Anyone who's responsible
Cool.
for that many deaths should not remain as president of the United States of America. We're in a situation where there are 1,000 deaths a day now, 1,000 deaths a day, and there are over 70,000 new cases per day. Compared to what's going on in Europe, as the New England Medical Journal said, they're starting from a very low rate. We're starting from a very high rate. The expectation is we'll have another 200,000 Americans dead between now and the end of the year. If we just wore these masks, the president's own advisors have told him, we could save 100,000 lives. And we're in a circumstance where the president thus far and still has no plan, no comprehensive plan.
No comprehensive
What I would do
plan?
is make sure we have
It's
everyone
right
encouraged
synced
to
up,
wear
bro.
a
It's almost like an
mask
echo.
all the time. I would make sure we move in the direction of rapid testing, investing in rapid testing. I would make sure that we set up national standards as to how to open up schools and open up businesses so they can be safe, and give them the wherewithal, the financial resources to be able to do that. We're in a situation now where the New England Medical Journal, one of the most serious journals in the whole world, I'm
surprised he hasn't jumped in yet on him.
that the way this president has
The mic's
responded to
muted,
this
isn't it?
crisis has been absolutely tragic.
Oh,
And
is
so,
it?
folks,
God,
I will take care of this.
85,000 watching
I will
this on
make sure
stream.
we have a plan.
President Trump, I'd like to follow up with you.
Nobody
Your
watching
comments.
ours.
You talked about taking a therapeutic. I assume you're referencing Regeneron. You also
Or
said a
one
vaccine
person.
will be
Wonder if that's
coming
me.
within weeks.
It might be.
Is that a guarantee?
No, it's not a guarantee, but it will be by the end of the year. But I think it has a good chance. There are two companies, I think, within a matter of weeks. And it will
Let me
be
check our levels.
distributed very quickly.
Can you tell us which companies?
Johnson & Johnson is doing very well. Moderna is doing very well. Pfizer is doing very well. And we have numerous others.
Talking.
Then we also have others that we're working on
Talk some
very
more.
closely with
Yeah.
other
Talk.
countries, in particular Europe.
Well,
Let me follow up with you, and because
man,
this is
I
new
think we probably missed a
information,
couple
you have said
drinks
a vaccine is coming
because
soon
it was
within
a
weeks
corona
now. Your own
topic.
officials
So
say it could take well into 2021 at the earliest for enough Americans to get vaccinated, and even then they say the country will be wearing masks and distancing into 2022. Is your timeline realistic?
No, I
Let me
think
tweet
my
that thing, see
timeline
if
is going
anybody
to be
shows
more
up.
accurate. I don't know that they're counting on the military the way I do, but we have our generals lined up, one in particular that's the head of logistics, and this is a very easy distribution for him. He's ready to go. As soon as we have the vaccine, and we expect to have 100 million vials, as soon as we have the vaccine, he's ready to go.
Vice President Biden, your reaction, and just 40% of Americans say they would definitely agree to take a coronavirus
What?
vaccine if it was approved by the government. What steps would you take to give Americans confidence in a vaccine if it were approved?
Make sure it's totally transparent. Have the scientists of the world see it,
What does that mean?
know it, look at it, go through all
Have
the
scientists
processes.
see it
by
and
the
look
way,
at it? What does that mean, Joe?
I'm not sure. Maybe maybe the solution's transparent. You
Don't
know,
worry, we're going to end this
So,
by the summer.
viscous
We're
liquid.
about to go into a dark winter. A dark winter.
Dark winter.
Does that count as an intelligible sentence?
Prospect that there's going to be a vaccine available for the majority of the American people before the middle of next year.
President Trump, your reaction, he says you have no
We don't
plan.
have a dark winter at all. We're opening up our country. We've learned and studied and understand the disease, which we didn't at the beginning. When I closed and banned China from coming
China,
in, being
drink.
infected, and then ultimately Europe. And China was
Until I finish my coffee, I'm
months
drinking
later, he was
that.
saying I was xenophobic. I did it too soon. Now he's saying, oh, I should have, moved quicker. But he didn't.
Did you see
move
this? Sean
quicker. He
Kemp's
was
opening up
months
a
behind me.
weed shop.
Many months
No.
behind me. And frankly, he ran the H1 N1, swine flu.
Just
and it was
answer
a
the
total
fucking
disaster,
questions,
far
Trump.
less
Stop
lethal.
trying to make
But
everything an
it was a
attack.
total
Just
disaster.
answer the questions to the
Had
best
that
of your
had
ability.
this kind of
Why does he go
like-
to swine flu? Swine flu wasn't nearly this
700,000
bad. It's a
people would
losing
be dead
issue.
right now, but it is a far
Because he's a
less
moron.
lethal disease. Look, his own person.
He's got too
who
much spray
ran that
tan
for
on.
him,
Yeah.
who, as you know, was his chief of staff.
Yeah,
said
screenshot that.
it was catastrophic. It was horrible. We didn't know what we were doing. Now he comes up and he tells us how to do this. Also, everything that he said about the way every single move that he said we should make, that's what we've done. We've done all of it. But he was way behind us.
Vice President Biden, your response.
Our response is he is xenophobic, but not because he shut down access from China.
Shut up,
He did it
Joe.
later. 40 countries had already done that.
bullshit, man.
In addition to
It's
that,
totally
what
what
he
you
did,
meant.
he made sure that we had
You,
44
like,
people that were in there in China. trying
Not
to get
that, like,
to
Trump
Wuhan
did it
to
well,
determine
obviously, 'cause he
what
did it
exactly
shitty.
the
Saying
source was.
China,
What
man.
did the president say in January?
Keep drinking,
he
bro.
said, no, he said, he's being
Oh, yeah.
transparent. The president of China is being transparent. We owe him a debt of gratitude. We have to thank him. And then what happened was we started talking about using the Defense
And
Act
we
to make
get
sure
toasted
we go
doing
out and
this.
get whatever is needed out there to protect people. And again, I go back to this. He had nothing. He did virtually nothing. And then he gets out of the hospital and he talks about this is over. Don't worry, it's all going to be over soon.
That counts as an intelligible,
Another
doesn't it?
serious scientist in the world who thinks
I'll
it's
give
gonna be
Biden a
over
pass
soon.
for that one.
President Trump, your reaction?
Say over soon. I say we're learning to live with it.
No,
We
you
have
say it's gonna be
choice.
over
We
soon all
can't
the
lock
time.
ourselves
You're so
up
full
in
of
a
shit.
basement like Joe does. He has the ability to lock himself up. I don't know.
He's-
He's obviously made a lot of money someplace. But he has this thing
All
about
right, that
living
counts
in a
as mocking
basement.
Biden.
People can't do that. By the way, I, as the president, couldn't do that.
Yep.
I'd love to put
That's
myself
it.
in the basement
Whoa.
or in a beautiful room in the White House.
Nobody asked
and
you to
go
do
away
that,
for a year
Trump.
and a
They
half
asked you to
until
wear
it
a fucking
disappears.
mask, man.
Yeah.
That's all they
Can't do
asked.
that. And
It's like
because
literally the
every
only thing
meeting
anybody
I
wants you to
had,
do.
every
Wear a
meeting
mask
I
when you go
had,
somewhere.
And I meet a lot of families, including Gold Star families and military families.
Oh, he's gonna blame it on the
Every
Gold Star
meeting I had,
family
and I had
again.
to meet them. I had to. It would be horrible to have canceled everything. I said, this is dangerous. And you catch it. And I caught it. I learned a lot. Great doctors, great hospitals.
This is
And
like
now
borderline
I recovered.
unintelligible sentence.
99.9
I'll let you be the judge on that one,
recover.
bro.
99% of people recover. We have to recover. We can't close up our nation. We have to open our school, and we can't close up our nation, or you're not going to have a nation.
And of course, the CDC has said young people can get sick with COVID-19 and can pass it. Vice President Biden, I want to talk broadly about strategy, though.
Can I respond to that?
30 seconds, please, and then I have a question.
Number one, he says
Oh,
that
shit,
we're,
number
you know,
one.
we're learning to live with it.
Oh yeah, that's one of them.
Die with it. You folks home will have an empty chair at the kitchen table this morning. That man or wife going to bed tonight and reaching over and try to touch their out of habit where their wife or husband was is gone. Learning to live with it. Come on.
Come on,
You're
man.
dying with it.
Is Come On Man on
Because
there?
He's never said
Better
it.
be.
You said it's dangerous. When's the last time? Is it really dangerous still? Are we dangerous? You tell the people it's dangerous now? What should they do about the danger? And you say, I take no responsibility.
Let me talk about your two.
Excuse me, I take full responsibility. It's not my fault that he came here. It's China's fault. And you know what? It's not Joe's
damn
fault
it,
that
China.
he came here either. It's China's fault. They kept it from going into the rest of China for the most part, but they didn't keep it from coming out to the world, including Europe and ourselves.
Vice President Biden.
The fact is that when we knew it was coming, when it hit, what happened? What did the president say? He said, don't worry, it's going to go away. Be gone by Easter. Don't worry. The warm weather. Don't worry. Maybe inject bleach. He said he was kidding when he said,
do you
"No,
want to
a
go
lot
on
of
their
people are
channel?
serious."
Oh, we can't. How do we do
Range of
it?
things the president said.
I mean, I think you'd have to
Today,
like hang up
he
and
thinks
call.
We are in control. We're about to lose 200,000 more people.
Let's get through the first
President
commercial at
Look,
least.
perhaps just to finish this, I was kidding on that, but just to finish this, when I closed, he said I shouldn't have closed. And that went on for months. Nancy Pelosi said the same thing. She was dancing on the streets in Chinatown in San Francisco. But when I closed, he said, this is a terrible thing, you're xenophobic. I think he called me racist even. And because I was closing it to China. Now he says I should have closed it earlier.
It just, Joe, it doesn't. I didn't say either of those things. You said evil words, and I talked about xenophobia in a different context. It wasn't about closing the border to Chinese coming to the United States.
I want to talk about both of your different strategies to handle.
He thought I shouldn't have closed the border.
Well,
Shut up, man.
Is that? Do you want to respond to that quickly, Vice President
No.
Biden? Okay. Let's talk about your different strategies toward dealing with this. Mr. Vice President, you suggested you would support new shutdowns if scientists recommended it. What do you say to Americans who are fearful that the cost of shutdowns, the impact on the economy, the higher rates of hunger, depression, domestic and substance abuse outweighs the risk of exposure to the virus?
What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country.
Ooh,
It's his
epic
ineptitude
burn.
that caused the country to have to shut down in large part. Why businesses
Trust
have
me,
gone
you
under,
didn't
why
think of that.
schools are closed, why so many people have lost their living, and why they're concerned. Those other concerns are real. That's why he should have been, instead of in a sand trap at a golf course, he should have been negotiating with Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats and Republicans about what to do about the acts they were passing for billions of dollars to make sure people had the capacity.
But you haven't ruled out more shutdowns.
Oh, well, no, I'm not shutting down the name, but there are, look, you need standards. The standard is if you have a reproduction rate in a community that's above a certain level, everybody says, slow up. More social distancing. Do not open bars and do not open gymnasiums. Do not open until you get this under control, under more control. But when you do open, give the people the capacity to be able to open and have the capacity to do it safely. For example, schools. Schools, they need a lot of money to open. They need to deal with ventilation systems. They need to deal with smaller classes, more teachers, more pods. And he's refused to support
That's right,
that
Joe.
money, or at
That's
least up
right.
to now.
He's right.
Let's
This
talk
is a
about
sick
schools.
burn.
President
I
Trump,
think we have to respond, if I might.
please, and then I have a follow-up.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. Look, all he does is talk about shutdowns, but forget about him. His Democrat governors, Cuomo in New York, you
Here he
look at
goes.
what's going on in California,
Dude.
you look at Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Democrats all, they're shut down so tight, and they're dying. They're dying. And he supports all these people. All he
What is
talks
he
about
talking about? He
shutdowns.
looks like a
No, we're not
maniac.
gonna shut
He's
down,
just
and we're
Yeah.
gonna
doing the same
open our
thing Pence
schools.
was doing,
And it's
like
as an
redirecting to
example,
something
I have a
shitty a
young
liberal
son.
person has done at some point, at some time.
By the
Right? It's
time I
always
went to
just
the
well,
doctor the second time,
he
was
okay. You know
fine.
what?
He
He
just
looks
went
more
away.
controlled
Young
this
people.
time than
I
last
guess
time.
it's their immune system.
Let me follow up with you, President Trump. You've demanded schools open in person and insist they can do it safely. But just yesterday, Boston became the latest city to move its public school system entirely online after a coronavirus spike. What is your message to parents who worry that sending their children to school will endanger not only their kids, but also their teachers and families?
I want to open the schools. The transmittal
You
rate
didn't pay
to
them.
the
You didn't give the
teachers is-
schools money to open, bro. That's why they're not
I
open.
wanna
That's why our
open the
schools aren't open. They
We
don't
have
have.
to
They can't
open our
afford
country.
it.
We're not going to
Bro.
have a country. You can't do this. We can't keep this country closed. This is a massive country with a massive economy.
There's no
People are
plan
losing
to
their
really
jobs,
reopen
they're committing
safely.
suicide.
What's gonna
There's
happen when they
depression,
open up?
alcohol, drugs, at a
We end up
level
shutting
that
down
nobody's
again
ever
just
seen
because of how many
before.
people get
There's
sick.
abuse, tremendous
Stupid.
abuse. We have to open our country. You know, I've said it often. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. And
Oh,
that's what's
dude.
happening. And he wants to close down. He'll close down the country if one person in our massive bureaucracy says we should close it down.
Vice President Biden, your
Simply
response.
not true. We ought to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. We ought to be able to safely open, but we may need resources to open. You need to be able to, for example, if you're going to open a business, have social distancing within the business. You need to have, if you have a restaurant, you need to have plexiglass dividers so people cannot infect one another. You need to be in a position where you can take testing rapidly and know whether a person is in fact infected. You need to be able to trace. You need to be able to provide all the resources that are needed to do this. And that is not inconsistent with saying that what we're going to make sure that we open safely. And by the way, all you teachers out there, not that many of you are going to die, so don't worry about it. So don't worry about it. Come on.
President Trump, let me follow up with you quickly.
I will say this: if you go and look at what's happened to New York,
Oh, yeah, that counts as
it's
Trump
a ghost
interrupting the
town.
mod.
It's a ghost town. And when you
Okay.
talk about plexiglass, these are restaurants that are dying. These are businesses with no money. Putting up plexiglass is unbelievably expensive, and it's not the answer. I mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic. These are businesses that are dying, Joe. You can't do that to people. You just can't. Take a look at New York and what's happened to my wonderful city for so many years. I loved it. It was vibrant. It's dying. Everyone's leaving New York.
Take a look at what New York has done.
Democrat-run cities.
The curve down in terms of the number of people dying. And I don't look at this in terms of the way he does. Blue states and red states. They're all the United States. And look at the states
nobody
that are
likes
having
that.
such a spike.
Like he keeps doing that. Blue state, red state.
Yeah.
The states
And look at the numbers in the red states, by the way. I can speak to that living here. It's fucking horrible right now.
All Americans. And what we have to do is say, wear these masks, number one. Make sure we get the help that the businesses need. That
I like that Biden
already been passed
brought up the schools, though.
It's been out there since the beginning of the summer, and nothing.
He's like, that's why our school's not open. None of the cities can afford to reopen their schools. They need federal funding.
11,000 people in nursing homes.
President Trump, what
when
about...
you say spike, take a look at what's happening in Pennsylvania, where they've had it closed. Take a look at what's happening with your friend in Michigan, where her husband's the only one allowed to do anything. It's been like a prison. Now it was just ruled unconstitutional. Take a look at North Carolina. They're having spikes, and they've been closed.
And that's not
and
working
they're getting
either.
killed
So what's your plan? Your plan is to do the same shit, but like without masks, or what?
And we understand the disease. We have to protect our
He
seniors.
keeps trying
We
to
have
say that
protect
like,
our elderly.
oh, these
We have to
Democrat-run
protect
cities, Joe
especially
Biden,
our seniors
that's
with
him.
heart
Like,
problems
it's
and
not him. He
diabetes
has no
problems.
power.
And we
He's
will
not
do
in
it. We
office.
have the best testing in the world by far. That's why we have so many cases.
Let me follow up with you before
Oh,
we move on to our
God.
next section. President Trump, this week you called Dr. Anthony
I hate
Fauci
that
the nation's
point.
best-known
We
infectious
have more
disease
cases
expert,
because we
quote,
have more
a
testing.
disaster. You described him and other medical experts as, quote, idiots. If you're
They've
not
got
listening to them, who are you listening to?
5 times more
Listening to
deaths
all
than
of
our
them, including
population
Anthony, I get
should
along very well with Anthony, but he did
necessitate.
say, don't wear masks. He did say, as you know, this is not going to be a problem.
I like Biden's
think he's a
facial
Democrat,
expressions.
But that's okay. He said this is not going to be a problem. We are not going to have a problem at all. When Joe says that, I said, Anthony Fauci said, and others, and many others, and I'm not knocking him a lot. Nobody knew. Look, nobody knew what this thing was. Nobody knew where it was coming from, what it was. We've learned a lot. But Anthony said, don't wear masks. Now he wants to wear masks. Anthony also said, if you look back, exact words. Here's his exact words. This is no problem. This is going to go away soon. So he's allowed to make mistakes. He happens to be a good person.
Vice President Biden, your response quickly, and then we're going to move on to the next section.
My response is that think about what the president knew in January and didn't tell the American people. He was told this was a serious virus that spread in the air, and it was much worse than the flu. He went on record and said to one of your colleagues, recorded, that in fact he knew how dangerous it was, but he didn't want to tell us. He didn't want to tell us because he didn't want us to panic. He didn't want us, Americans don't panic.
Do you want to go on that channel with them?
In the meantime, we find out in the New York Times the other day that in fact,
how do we
his
do it?
folks went to Wall Street and said this is a really
That's why
dangerous
disclosed
thing.
during the commercial.
And a memo out of that meeting, not from his administration, but from some of the brokers, said sell short because we got to get moving. It's a dangerous process.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond, and then we're going to move on.
I don't know. Somebody went to Wall Street. You're the one that takes all the money from Wall Street. I don't take it.
Is that mocking?
A lot of money. Tremendous amounts of money. And every time you raise money, deals are made, Joe. I could raise so much more money as president and as somebody that knows most of those
He's bragging about the money again.
Okay, this is pretty. This is kind of unintelligible.
I would blow away every record, but I don't want to do that.
I'm gonna call that
puts me in a bad
unintelligible.
position. And then you bring up Wall Street. You shouldn't be bringing up Wall Street because you're the one that takes the money from Wall Street, not me. I could blow away your records that, like you wouldn't believe. We don't need money. We have plenty of money. In fact, we beat Hillary Clinton with a tiny fraction of the money she was able to.
Because you ran a good campaign last time, bro.
$43.
All right, we're going to move on to our next section, which is national security. And I do want to start with the security of our elections and some breaking news from overnight. Just last night, top intelligence officials confirmed again that both Russia and Iran are working to influence this election. Both countries have obtained U.S. voter registration information, these officials say, and Iran sent intimidating messages to Florida voters. This question goes to you, Mr. Vice President. What would you do to put an end to this threat? 2 minutes uninterrupted.
I made it clear. and
Who's the
ask
link?
everyone else to take the pledge. I made it clear that any country, no matter who it is, that interferes in American elections will pay a price. They will pay a price. And it's been overwhelmingly clear this election,
what am I doing with this
the
thing?
last one, this election, that Russia
I said
has
we
been
go in on the
involved,
commercial. I
China's
think if
been
you
involved
just
to
click
some
that
degree,
link,
and
it
now
takes
we
you right
learned
into it.
Okay. So I had to hang up the. I got to end the stream though,
They
right?
will pay a price.
Yeah, and then I think I can
They're
direct it to
interfering
their
with
stream.
American sovereignty.
Let me
That's what's
see.
going
Okay.
on right now. They're interfering with American sovereignty. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think the president said anything to Putin about it. I don't think he's stalking him a
What?
lot. I don't think he said a word. I don't know why he hadn't said a word to Putin.
What's he saying about Putin?
And I don't know what he has recently said, if anything, to the Iranians. My guess is he'd probably be more outspoken
It's the Iranians.
with regard to the Iranians. But the point
Nope,
is this.
he's not on the. I'm not on the
We're in a
list.
situation
Russia,
where we
Ukraine,
have foreign
Mexico, China.
countries trying to interfere in the outcome of our election. His own national security advisor told him that what is happening with his buddy, well, I will.
That's unintelligible.
Giuliani. He's being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true. And then what happens? Nothing happens. And then you find out that everything that's going on here about Russia is wanting to make sure that I do not get elected to the next president
Russia,
of the United States
fuck.
because they know I
Just
know
said it.
them and they know me. I don't understand why this president is unwilling to take on Putin when he's actually
put way too much
paying
gin in this
bounties
shit.
to kill American soldiers in Afghanistan.
What are you drinking?
Engaged in activities that are trying to destabilize all of NATO. I don't know why he doesn't do it, but it's worth asking the question. Why isn't that being done? Any country that interferes with us will, in fact, pay a price because they're affecting our sovereignty.
President Trump, same question to you. Let me ask the question. You have 2 minutes to respond. For 2 elections in a row now, there has been substantial interference from foreign adversaries. What would you do in your next term to put an end to this? 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Well, let me respond to the first part, as Joe answered. Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because he was very friendly with the former mayor of Moscow.
He's saying like anything that Hunter did, you know, Joe did.
Your family got $3.5 million, and you know someday you're gonna have to explain why did you get $3.5. I never got any money from Russia. I don't get money from Russia. Now, about your thing last night, I knew all about that, and through John Ratcliffe, who is fantastic, he and I, he said the one thing that's common to both of them. They both want you to lose because there's been nobody tougher to Russia. Between the sanctions, nobody tougher than me on Russia. Between the sanctions, between all of what I've done with NATO, you know, I've got the NATO countries to put up an extra $130 billion, going to $420 billion a year. That's to guard against Russia. I sold, while he was selling pillows and sheets, I sold tank busters to Ukraine. There has been
You're gonna have some catching up to do, bro.
from Russia than Donald Trump. And I'll tell you, they were so bad. They took over the submarine port.
Okay, I think I know how to.
Well, during your
How to forward the stream?
during you and Barack
or
Obama,
Alright,
they
whatever.
took over a big part of what should have been Ukraine.
I mean, I know how to
and
read
handed
it.
to them. But you were getting a lot of money from
You don't have a
Russia.
title
They
on
were
the
paying
thing.
you a lot of money.
I thought it
and they
did.
probably
I
still are.
titled it
But
before I
now,
put
with
it.
what came out today, it's even worse. All of the emails, the horrible emails of the kind of money that you were raking in, you and your family. And Joe, you were vice president when some of this was happening.
No, he wasn't.
And it should have never
Those
happened.
emails are from after he was already out of
I
office.
think you owe an explanation to the American people. Why is it? Somebody just had a news conference a little while ago who was essentially supposed to work with you and your family. But what he said was damning. And regardless of me, I think you have to clear
Unintelligible?
to the American people. Maybe you can
No, this is intelligible.
Okay.
These are sick burns, man.
Really? None of that. You kept saying how none of this is even true.
Taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life. We learned
The first part wasn't. The second part was.
50 times
It doesn't
the
matter,
tax
'cause
in
Biden's not gonna be able to
China,
refute it
has a secret
anyway.
Bank account with China. does
Oh, there we
business
go.
in China, and in fact is talking about me taking money. I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever, ever. Number one.
Ask him about all
Oh,
that
he
tax.
did the number
This is the
shit.
president. I have released all of my tax returns.
Oh.
22 years. Go look at them.
At least you did it
22
right
years
that
of my
time,
tax
though.
return. You have not released a single
Chandler.
solitary year of your tax return. What are you hiding? Why are you unwilling? The foreign countries are paying you a lot. Russia's paying you a lot. China's paying you a
See,
lot.
this is
All
like
your hotels and all
what
your
drives me
businesses
nuts
all
about
around the
having
country,
Biden and not
all
like
around the world.
somebody who
And
can at least
China's
talk
building a new
properly,
road to a
because
new
you can't even
golf
like.
course you have overseas.
Man, I'm
So
toasted.
what's going on here? Why don't release your tax return or stop talking about corruption?
President Trump, your
You
response.
can't even like make a cogent argument.
Under audit. I'm going to release them as soon as we can. I want to do it, and it'll show how successful, how great this company is. But much more importantly than that, people were saying $750.
Okay.
I asked them a week ago. I said, "What did I pay?" They said, "Sir, you prepaid
Should be
tens
good.
of millions of dollars. I prepaid
I'm
my
gonna cut
tax.
it.
Tens over the last number of years. Tens of millions of dollars I prepaid." Because at some point they think it's an estimate, they think I may have to pay tax, so I already prepaid it.
That's not what happened at all, man.
You paid $750 on your taxes
You took $100 million deduction
for
that
depreciation.
they said was phony. Yeah.
Bullshit.
That's what his like. He keeps saying like, I'm being audited. I can't
Yeah.
release it. You're not being audited. Is they're trying to get back that $100 million deduction you took.
No, when you shouldn't have.
Money from
Yeah.
Russia.
Damn
You
it,
make
they
$3.5
keep saying
million,
Russia.
Joe, and your son gave you. They even have a statement.
Why don't you just drink
we
beer
have to
so you
give
don't get so
10%
wasted?
To the big man.
Because
You're the big
I
man,
forgot to
think.
go out and
I
get
don't
beer. The
know,
only thing I
maybe
had
you're
in my
not,
house
but
was
you're the
a
big man,
bottle
I
of
think.
gin, so I
Your
made
son
some
said we have to
shit.
give
Oh,
10%
man.
to the big man.
Actually, I
Joe,
have
what's
some
that all
rum
about?
too,
It's
so
terrible.
I finished this shit in this drink. I'm gonna bring out the bottle.
I'm going to let you both respond very quickly.
Got some
You said you
Malibu.
spoke to your accountant about potentially releasing your taxes. Did he tell you when you can release them?
What's
Do you
your username
have
on
a
Twitch?
deadline for when you're going to release them?
Tony Westside.
Oh, there you are.
The Tea Party got treated.
Tony
Because
Westside
there are a lot of
824.
people in there,
Nah.
deep down in the IRS,
Well,
they
yeah,
treat
that is
me
me.
horribly.
Yeah.
We made a deal. It was all settled until I decide to run for president. I get treated
Moderator,
very badly by the
editor.
IRS, very unfairly. But we had a deal all done. As soon as we're completed with the deal, I want to
Okay.
release it. But I have paid millions and millions of dollars, and it's worse than paying. I paid in advance. It's called
Worse than
prepaid
paying.
taxes. I paid in advance.
I want to ask you both about questions regarding your potential foreign entanglements and questions that have been raised to give you both a chance to talk about this more broadly.
up,
Respond
Joe.
very quickly, and then I'll get to my question.
Why did he's been saying this for 4 years? Show us.
Moderator
Just show us. Stop playing
interrupted
around.
him.
You've been saying for 4 years you're going to release your taxes. Nobody knows, Mr. President. What they do know is you're not paying your taxes, or you're paying taxes that are so low. When last time he said what he paid, he said, I only pay that little because I'm smart. I know how to game the system. Come on. Come on, folks.
President
folks.
Trump, and then I want to
Come on,
get to two
folks.
questions to both of you.
I'm glad Come On's not on this list right now, bro.
For 3 years. It started before I even got elected. They spied on my campaign. No president should ever have to go through what I went through. Let me just.
Oh God, here he goes again.
Mueller and 18 angry Democrats.
He's gonna do the
and
the
FBI
Nelly Orr
agents
thing.
all over the place. Spent $48 million. They went through everything I had, including my tax returns, and they found absolutely no collusion and nothing wrong. 48
No.
million. I guarantee
They
you, if I
found that you were
spent $1
shady
million
as shit,
on you,
but they
I
couldn't
could
prove
find plenty
anything.
wrong. Because the kind of things that you've done and the kind of monies that your family has
Like,
taken, I mean, your
You know,
brother
like
made
obviously I'm
millions
like
of
not into like the
dollars.
Russiagate stuff, you
Your
know,
other
but like
brother made a fortune.
Look,
he's
I mean,
definitely
All
shady
through
as
you,
hell.
Joe,
Well,
and they
yeah,
say
but I
you
mean, look,
get some
even
of
if
it,
you look
and
at the
you do
Mueller
live
report,
very
which
well. You have
everybody
houses
says
all
that
over
nothing
the
was in
place. You
it,
live very
he
well.
kept
All right,
matching
gentlemen,
up
let me
all
just
the
ask
elements
some
of all these
questions about all of
crimes.
this
He just
broadly.
didn't
Vice President
follow
Biden, there
through and
have
say
been
that
questions
he
about the work your son
should
has
be
done in
indicted
China
or
and
whatever
for
it
a
is because of
Ukrainian
those
energy
stupid
company when you were
guidelines.
vice president.
I think
In
if he wasn't
retrospect,
president,
was
he would
anything
be.
He would have
about
been
those
indicted. I
relationships
don't know what
inappropriate
I don't
or
know what people
unethical?
act like he didn't. He
Nothing was
wasn't.
unethical.
It's
Here's
just
what
Bill
it is.
Barr, man.
It's stupid.
With regard to Ukraine, we
Ukraine.
had this whole question about whether or not, because he was
Yeah,
on the board
Ukraine.
of Burisma,
Drink, bro.
a company, that somehow I had done something wrong. Yet every single solitary person when he was going through his impeachment, testifying under oath who worked for him, said I did my job impeccably. I carried out U.S. policy. Not one single solitary thing was out of line. Not a single thing. Number one. Number two, the guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did not do because it never, ever happened. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China.
I posted last night, if you had to vote for one member of the Trump family, who would it be? Most people are saying Barron.
Barron?
Made money from China.
Yeah, I thought.
Let me ask my question to you.
Oh, there we go. Oh, there it is. Drink.
Didn't have a job for a long time, was sadly no longer in the military service. I won't get into that. And he didn't have a job. As soon as he became vice president, Burisma, not the best reputation in the world. I hear they paid $183,000 a month. Listen to this.
Most people seem to be saying Barron. Some people said Tiffany.
I said Mary.
I mean, Barron just, we don't know anything about.
Yeah.
No basis for that.
He seemed pretty cool.
No one said anything he did was wrong in Ukraine.
Okay,
But like,
Trump, this is for you. Since you took office, you've
nobody
never
knows,
divested
just
from
that
your
he's
business.
very
You've
tall.
personally promoted your properties abroad. A report this week, which was referenced, does indicate that your company has a bank account in China. So how will voters know that
China.
you don't have any foreign conflicts of interest?
I have many bank accounts, and they're all listed, and they're all over the place. I mean, I was a businessman doing business. The bank account you're referring to, which is everybody knows about it, is listed. The bank account was in 2013. That's what it was. It was opened in it was closed in 2015, I believe. And then I decided, because I was going to do, I was thinking about doing a deal in China.
And why did everybody report it as a secret bank
I
account?
was thinking about it, and I decided I'm not going to
Trump
do
doesn't
it.
really say fake news anymore, though, does he?
Not to
I
do
don't
it.
know.
Had an account open, and I closed it.
That makes this
Excuse
night
me.
so much
And
harder.
then, unlike him, where he's vice president,
He
and
says
does
mainstream
business,
media.
I then
He
decided
says
to run
very
for president
unfair.
after that. That was before. So I closed it before I even ran for president, let alone became president. Big difference. He is the vice president of the United States, and his son, his brother, and his other brother are getting rich. They're like
Okay,
a
but
vacuum
that's
cleaner. They're
not
sucking
him,
money.
man.
Thank you. We do need to move on. I do want to ask you, Vice President Biden, about China. Let's talk about China.
Biden
more
should throw his
broadly.
brother under the
There
bus, because his
has, of
brother's
course,
obviously
President
corrupt.
Trump has said that they should pay for not being fully transparent in regards to the coronavirus. If you were president,
Don't
would
say
you
something
make
dumb
China
here.
pay? And please be specific. What would that look like?
What I'd make China do is play by the international
There we go.
rules, not like he has done. He has caused the
There you go.
deficit of
Good
China
answer,
to
man.
go up, not down, with China. Up,
you go.
not down. We are
Okay.
making sure that in order to do business in China, you have to give all your intellectual property. You have to have a partner in China. It's 51%. We would not do that at all. Number one.
Oh,
Number two,
Oh,
we're
he's
in a situation
numbering.
where China would have to play by the rules internationally as well.
Silicon Valley's not going to like that.
When I was still vice president, he said we're setting up air identification zones in the South China Sea. You can't fly through them. I said we're going to fly through them. We just flew B-52 B-1
Dude,
bombers.
you don't have to
We're not
be
gonna
so
pay attention.
provocative,
They
Joe.
have to play by the rules. And what's he do? He embraces guys.
Let
like
him have their
the
no-fly zone, man.
thugs like in North Korea and the Chinese president and Putin and others, and he pokes his finger down all of our friends, all of our allies. We make up only 25% of the world's economy. We need to be having the rest of our friends with us saying to China, these are the rules. We play by them.
Yeah,
You're gonna pay
he's
for
right
us.
though.
We're not
You
paying
can't do a
by them.
unilateral
Economically,
trade war. That's just
the
one of the
way I
dumbest
will run
things
it.
he
That's
did.
what we
You know,
and uphold
Yeah.
steel
Like,
tariffs and a range
you
of other
do-
things, and we were president.
if you want to do a trade war, you
let's
get
talk
together
about-
with Europe
let's-
and
let's-
Canada,
Just
and,
vote on that.
Okay.
whatever.
Very quickly, and then we're going to move on to
The Five Eyes.
$5.5 from China to after spending
You do it
10 minutes in
together,
office and
so you have
being
some leverage.
Air Force Two. Number one. Number two, there's a very strong email talking about your family wanted to make $10 million a year for introductions.
Whoa.
Let's see, though. What specifically are you going to do to make China pay? You said you're
Oh God, I want to hear
China
this.
is paying. They're paying billions and billions of dollars. I just gave $28 billion.
New sanctions?
I just gave $28 billion to our farmers.
You didn't.
China,
Taxpayer money.
it's what?
Taxpayers' money.
Oh.
It's called China. China paid $28 billion, and you know what they did to pay it, Joe? They devalued their currency, and they also paid up. And you know who got the money? Our farmers, our great farmers, because they were targeted. You never charged them anything.
Pretty sure it's not what happened.
I charged them 25% on dumped steel because they were killing our steel industry. We were not going to have a steel industry, and now we have a steel industry.
Vice President Biden, response.
Interrupted.
This isn't about. There's a reason why he's bringing up all this malarkey. There's a reason.
Malarkey. How come malarkey's not on the list?
Right.
It's not about his family.
There's plenty of shit on the list, bro. Where's your beers at? You be toasted too.
Badly. If you're making less than, if you're a middle class family, you're getting hurt badly.
The list is good.
You're sitting at the
list is
table
good.
this morning
Kiss the
deciding,
list.
well, we can't get new tires to the ball because we have to wait another month or so. Or are we going to be able to pay the mortgage? Or who's going to tell her she can't go back to community college? They're the decisions you're making. In the middle class families like I grew up in Scranton and Claremont, they're in trouble. We should be talking about your families, but that's the last thing he wants to talk about.
I want to talk about North Korea. I do want to turn to 10 seconds, Mr. President. 10 seconds.
All right, it's an interruption. It's an interruption.
And he looks, the family, around the table, everything. Just a typical politician when I say that.
Let's talk about North Korea.
That's why I got elected. Let's get off the subject of China. Let's talk around
Oh, there it goes again with China.
Joe, you can do better.
We're going to talk about North Korea now. President Trump, you've met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un 3 times. You've talked about your beautiful letters with him. You've touted the fact that there hasn't been a war or a long-range missile test, and yet North Korea recently rolled out its biggest ever intercontinental ballistic missile and continues to develop its nuclear arsenal. Do you see that as a betrayal of the relationship you forged? Just 30 seconds here because we need to get on to the next one.
So when I met with Barack Obama,
Obama.
in the White House, right at the beginning, had a great conversation. It was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it was well over an hour. He said the biggest problem we have with North Korea. He indicated we would be in a war with North Korea. Guess what? It would be a nuclear war, and he does have plenty of nuclear capability. In the meantime, I have a very good relationship with him. Different kind of a guy, but he probably thinks the same thing about me. We have a different kind of a relationship. We have a very good relationship, and there's no war. And you know, about 2 months ago, he broke into a certain area and said, oh, there's going to be trouble. I said, no, they're not, because he's not going to do that. And I was right. Look, instead of being in a war where millions of people, Seoul, you know, is 25 miles away, millions and millions, 32 million people in Seoul, millions of people would be dead right now.
Interruption.
Tests under the Obama administration. Why do you think you would be able to rein in this persistent threat right now?
Because I made it clear, which was making it clear to China, they had to be part of the deal. Because here's the root. I made it clear as a spokesperson of the administration when I went to China that they said, why are you moving your missile defense up so close? Why are you moving more forces here? Why are you continuing to do military maneuvers with South Korea? I said, because North Korea is a problem. And
Damn, Hassan's got 108,000 people watching the stream now.
That's incredible. Well, I mean, he probably got a lot more people too from having AOC on, right? I mean, his channel's probably even got bigger.
He was already.
Yeah, I mean, he was already pretty huge.
He's talked about his good buddy.
He had I don't know who. Like I was watching a little bit earlier. He had
have much more capable missiles.
Ryan Grimm and Dave Weigel and Seated in a Way, a couple other people on his channel too. Like he had quite the lineup.
Any conditions under which you would meet with him?
On the condition that he would agree that he would be drawing down his nuclear capacity to get that the Korean Peninsula should be nuclear-free zone.
All right, let's move on to American families.
They tried to meet with him. They tried to meet with him. He wouldn't do it. He didn't like Obama. He didn't like
Obama.
Okay, I gotta give him a chance to respond to that.
He wouldn't do it. And here's okay. You know what? North Korea, we're not in a war. We have a good relationship. You know, people don't listen. Have a good relationship with leaders of other countries.
We have a lot of questions to get to.
And we had a good relationship with Hitler before he, in fact, invaded.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
The reason he would not meet with President Obama is because President Obama said,
there we go, Obama, drink again, people, if you're playing along.
We're not going to legitimize you, and we're going to continue to put stronger and stronger sanctions on you. That's why he wouldn't meet with us.
See what Sam Cedar's talking about.
All right.
Move on and talk about
He left me a mess, Kristen.
President Trump. Okay,
They left me a mess. North Korea was a mess. In fact, if you remember the first 2 or 3 months,
Oh, he's talking
it was a
over
very
him.
dangerous period in my first 3 months before we sort of worked things out a little bit. It was a very they left us a mess, and Obama would be, I think, the first to say it was the single biggest problem he thought that our country.
Okay, let's move on to American families and the economy. One of the issues that's most important to them is health care, as you both know. Today, there was a key vote on a new Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, and health care is at the center of her confirmation fight. Over 20 million Americans get their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. It's headed to the Supreme Court, and your administration, Mr. President, is advocating for the court to overturn it. If the Supreme Court does overturn that law, those 20 million Americans could lose their health insurance almost overnight. So what would you do if those people have their health insurance taken away? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
First of all, I've already done something that nobody thought was possible. Through the legislature, I terminated the individual mandate. That is the worst part of Obamacare, as we call it.
You know the one thing about the individual.
Well,
I mean, the individual mandate, it never really made sense to me because they're basically paying into the system and not getting anything out of it.
It's just supposed to be a threat. But then I made a decision: run it as well as you can.
Because you're paying, and then you're not even getting any health care out of it. You're still paying.
And made everybody very unhappy.
You should have a public option, right?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense if it's a public option. You get an extra tax on you, and then you have health care from the government plan.
What we'd like to do is terminate it. We have the individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we'll have to run it.
I kind of wish I could pass you controls right now, bro.
It no longer is Obamacare because without the individual mandate,
I kind of wish I could pass you the controls right now, bro.
Will always stay. What I would like to do is a much better health care, much better. Will always protect people with pre-existing. So I'd like to terminate Obamacare.
Free sub? Why did they give me this free sub? That's weird.
Free sub?
Tremendous pressure.
I logged onto his account, onto his channel, and it was like free sub.
Who got a free sub?
But I think we're going to win the House.
I went onto Assange's channel to see who was on.
Oh,
and the thing popped up. It was like free sub. So I clicked it, and it's like your subscriber.
Yeah. Do you have Prime?
Far more than we're talking about with Obama.
Yeah, but it's like in my wife's name, so I tried logging into it, and I don't think
it didn't. Well, because if you have Prime, you get a free sub on Twitch.
Yeah, but I don't think it. Because the Twitch account's in my email address, and the Prime's in her email address.
Oh, okay. Under what he wants to do, which will
I mean, I don't know. I logged in. I tried to connect it, but it didn't really work. So.
Yeah, I tried to sub to us with my thing.
Why didn't you?
But it doesn't activate yet. We can't. Nobody can sub to us. Only follow.
Yes, this is for you. Your health care plan calls for building on Obamacare. So my question is, what is your plan if the law is ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
What I'm going to do is pass Obamacare with a public option. Biden care. Public option is an option that says that if you in fact do not have the wherewithal to be, if you qualify for Medicaid and you do not have the wherewithal in your state to get Medicaid, you automatically are enrolled, providing competition for insurance companies. That's what's going to happen. Secondly, we're going to make sure we reduce the premiums and reduce drug prices by making sure that there's competition that doesn't exist now by allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices with the insurance companies. Thirdly, the idea that
numbering again. I didn't even notice shit.
The reason why I had such a fight
numbering
with 20 candidates for the nomination was I support private insurance. That's why I didn't. Not one single person with private insurance would lose their insurance under my plan, nor did they under Obamacare. They did not lose their insurance unless they chose they wanted to go to something else. Lastly, we're going to make sure we're in a situation that we can actually protect pre-existing. There's no way he can protect pre-existing conditions. None. Zero. You can't do it in ether. He's been talking about this for a long time. He's never come up with a plan. I guess we're going to get the pre-existing condition plan at the same time we get the infrastructure plan. That
never mind, it's
17,
cold.
18, 19, and 20.
What is?
I was going to take off my jacket, but it's freaking cold, man.
The fact is that he's already cost the American people because of this terrible the COVID virus and economic spillover. 10 million people have lost.
What if I told you that neoliberalism was a pre-existing pre-existing
22
condition.
million more people have it on Obamacare, and over 110 million people with pre-existing conditions, and all the people from COVID are going to have pre-existing conditions. What are they going to do?
I have a follow-up for you, Vice President Biden. It relates to something that President Trump said. He's accusing you of wanting socialized medicine. What do you say to people who have concerns that
I wish. Don't threaten me with a good
a
time.
government insurance option takes the country one step closer to a healthcare system run entirely by the government?
I say it's ridiculous. It's like saying that, we're the idea that the fact that there's a public option that people can choose, that makes it a socialist plan. Look, the difference between the president, I think healthcare is not a privilege, it's a right.
Oh, sure, bud.
Oh, then why isn't it guaranteed, Joe? Why isn't it just a government service? And why are you contradicting yourself, bro?
As well as a whole range of other people who, in fact, are concerned in the medical field. This is something that's going to save people's lives, and this is going to give some people an opportunity to have health care for their children. How many of you home are worried and rolling around in bed today?
All right, I'm going to go get a beer.
What
Stay here.
name you're going to do if you get sick? Because
Stick with me, people.
Your home insurance, your
Grab your
health
drinks.
insurance, your company's
My partner's getting
We have to
his.
provide health insurance for people at an affordable rate, and that's what I do.
President Trump,
He was there for 47 years.
That's an interruption.
He was now there as vice president for 8 years, and it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? Less than 4 years ago. He didn't do anything. He didn't do it. He wants socialized medicine, and it's not that he wants it. His vice president, I mean, he is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more. Bernie Sanders wants it. The Democrats want it.
You know what? Just drink for that one.
Just like you went with fracking. We're not going to have fracking. We're going to
He's gonna
stop
do the fracking
fracking.
thing
We're going
again.
to stop fracking.
That's
Then he goes to
that's
Pennsylvania
mocking.
after he
That's
gets a
mocking.
nomination, where he got very lucky to get it. And he goes to Pennsylvania and he says, "Oh, we're going to have fracking." And you never ask that question. And by the way, so far, I respect very much the way you're handling this. I have to say.
By the way,
but somebody should ask the question. He goes for a year. There will be.
What do you mean? They ask the question all the time, and he says the same thing every time.
That's a big question.
We're going to get to it. We're going to get to
It's the same thing with socialized
I have to
medicine.
respond.
Vice President, your response, please.
My response is people deserve to have affordable health care, period. Period, period, period. And the Biden care proposal will, in fact, provide for that affordable health care, lower premiums. What we're going to do is going to cost some money. It's going to cost over $750 billion over 10 years to do it. And they're going to have lower premiums. You can buy into the better plans, the cheaper plans, lower your premiums, deal with unexpected
You
billing,
missed it,
and
but
have
Trump
your
said that
drug
Biden's
prices
more liberal
adjusted
than Bernie.
He keeps talking about it. He hasn't done a thing for everybody in healthcare. Not a thing.
He's talking about socialized medicine. And when he
Interruption.
when he talks about a public option, he's talking about destroying your Medicare, totally destroying your Social Security, and this whole country.
Don't let him get away with
You know,
that,
Bernie
moderator.
Sanders
Come on,
tried it
come
in
on.
his state. He tried it in his state. His governor was a very liberal governor. They wanted to make it work.
Okay, let's hear Vice President Biden respond. Vice President Biden respond.
He thinks he's running against somebody else. He's running against Joe Biden. I beat all those other people because I disagreed with them. Joe Biden.
That's not why you beat him.
No, that's not why you beat him.
That we're in a situation that they're going to destroy Medicare. This is the guy that the actuary Medicare said, if in fact that is Social Security, if in fact he continues to withhold his plan to withhold the tax on Social Security, Social Security will be bankrupt by 2023.
Damn.
No way to make up for it. This is the guy
2023.
who tried to cut Medicare. So I mean, the idea that Donald Trump is lecturing me on Social Security and Medicare? Come on.
Come on, no one knows how to cut Social Security like you.
Years ago, go back and look at the records. He tried to hurt Social Security years ago.
All right, let's move on. I'm going to move on. Mr. President, I have to move on to the next question.
They said
or
the
else
stock
we're not
market
going to
will
have time
boom
to talk about it.
if I'm elected. If he's elected, the stock market will crash.
Okay, let's move on to the next question very quickly.
Drink,
Stocks,
drink,
bro.
The idea
interruption.
that the stock market is booming is his only measure of what's happening. Where I come from in Scranton and Claymont, the people don't live off of the stock market. Just in the last three years during this crisis, the billionaires in this country made,
Unintelligible.
according to the Wall Street, $700 billion more dollars. $700 billion more dollars. Because that's his only measure. What happens to the ordinary people out there?
See, this is why I keep saying about Joe. This is the problem with him. He can't even like make the right arguments.
And he doesn't come from
Oh,
Scranton.
that's an interruption,
That's
too.
like he lived there for a short period of time before he even knew.
Joe said it did.
Let me move on to my
Folks,
next
he's not
question.
even from
As of
Scranton.
tonight, more than 12 million people are out of work, and as of tonight, 8 million more Americans have fallen into poverty, and more families are going hungry every day. Those hit hardest are women and people of color. They see Washington fighting over a relief bill. Mr. President, why haven't you been able to get them the help they need? 30 seconds here.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
That's a good answer. That's a good
I
answer.
do, but I still have to get. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to take over the House because of her. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve anything because she'd love to have some victories on a date called November 3rd. Nancy Pelosi does not want to approve it. We are ready, willing, and able to do something. Don't forget, we've
That's actually a fair
approved
point, bro.
plans, and it's gone through, including the Democrats, in all fairness. This one she doesn't want. It's near the election because she thinks it helps her politically. I think it hurts her politically.
He's saying that like
The Republican leader in
the Republicans control the Senate, man. They can
Yeah.
pass their own bill.
Right, with the
You know?
stimulus.
He does not have Republican votes. Why isn't he talking to his Republican friends?
Let me follow up with you, Vice President Biden, because let me ask Vice President Biden a question.
Interruption, interruption, drink,
Why have
drink.
you not pushed the Democrats to get a deal for the American people?
Oh, I have, and they have pushed it. Look, they passed this act all the way back in the beginning of the summer. This is like it's not new. It's been out there. This Heroes Act
Yeah.
has been sitting there.
He's not wrong
And
about
look
that.
what's happening.
Yep.
When I was in charge of the Recovery Act with $800 billion, I was able to get $145 billion to local communities that have to balance their budgets and states that have to balance their budgets and then have to fire firefighters, teachers, first responders, law enforcement
Yeah.
officers, so they can keep their cities and counties running. He will not support that.
He needs to repeat this over and over and over again. Folks, the reason your cities aren't recovering, the reason your cities are suffering is because the federal government won't get their shit together.
Was a bailout of badly run, high crime, Democrat, all
There he
run by
goes again.
Democrats, cities
Yep.
and states.
This doesn't
It
work,
was a
man.
way
Stop
of
doing
getting
this.
A lot of money, billions
This is
and
bad
billions of
strategy,
dollars to
this
these kids. It was also a
You
way of
keep
getting
doing
a
it. You
lot
keep
of money
saying like,
from our
oh, I
people,
give
Red
them
state,
money,
blue
but they're
state
bad.
shit, man.
people that come
doesn't
into our
work.
country illegally. We
Like-
were going to take care of everything for them. And what that does, and I'd love to do that, I'd love
And like,
to help them, but what
even
that
in the
does,
bluest of
everybody all
blue
over the world will
districts,
start
there's
pouring
still,
into our country. We can't
you know,
do it.
25,
This was a way
30% of them are
taking care of
Republicans.
them.
So
This was a way of spending on things that had nothing to do with COVID, as per your question.
COVID,
But it was really a big
COVID.
bailout for badly run Democrat cities and states.
If I get elected, I'm running as a proud Democrat, but I'm going to be an American president. I don't see red states and blue states. What I see is American, United States. And folks, every single state out there finds itself in trouble. They're going to start laying off, whether they're red or blue, cops, firefighters, first responders, because teachers, because they have to balance their budget. And the founders were smart. They allowed the federal government to deficit spend to compensate for the United States of America.
I want to talk about
There you
the
go.
minimum wage
Keep
day.
doing that,
Mr.
Joe.
Vice
Explain what that
President,
is.
We are talking a lot about struggling small businesses
Yes.
and business owners these days. Do you think this is the right time to ask them to raise the minimum wage? You, of course, support a $15 federal minimum wage.
Totally thought I still had my glasses
What
on.
we're going to have to do is we're going to have to bail them out too. We should be bailing them out now, those small businesses. You got 1 in 6 of them going under.
That's
They're not
true.
going to be able to make it back. They passed a package that allows us to be able to call PPP. Money is supposed to go to help them do everything from organize how they can deal with their businesses being open safely. Schools, how they can make classrooms smaller, how they can hire more teachers, how they can put ventilation systems in. They need the help. The businesses as well as the schools need the help. But these guys will not help them.
There you
They're
go.
not giving them any of the money.
We are going to move on to the break.
Interruption.
By raising the minimum wage, that's not helping. I think it should be a state option. Alabama is different than New York. New York is different from Vermont.
It's not how minimum wage works, man.
You said very
It's very important. We have to help our small businesses. How are you helping your small businesses when you're forcing wages?
You want to help the workers for the small business. That's what that means. It doesn't mean help the fucking small business tyrants.
You consider raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. You said recently you would consider raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Bro, you need to pay people.
To an extent. I really like what I read in the second administration, but not to a level that's going to put all these businesses out of business. It should be a state option. Look, I've lived in different places. I know different places.
It's not going to put anybody out of business.
Some places, $15
It's
is not
absurd
so
to
bad.
say that.
In
Like,
other places, other states,
they're paying $10 an hour now. Like, you give them an extra $5. Like,
2 jobs, 1 job.
what? Like $100 a day, maybe something like that. Like
These first
a couple $100 a day for a restaurant.
as they come down the street because they've allowed us to make it. What's
You can
happening?
add
They
20 cents to
deserve
all
a
the
minimum
items.
wage
You know,
of
it's like
$15.
that
Anything
tweet you
below
see, that
puts you
viral
below
tweet
the
going around a
poverty
lot
level.
about how
And there is
minimum
no
wage at
evidence that
McDonald's
when
in
you raise the
Denmark is
Oh,
minimum
yeah,
wage,
yeah,
$22.
yeah.
businesses go out of business.
And the
That
Big
is
Mac costs
simply
27
not
cents
true.
more because of it.
27 cents and they get paid $22 an hour. I think that's a fair trade.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you had like a diner, you could add an extra quarter to the
Or,
price
you
of
know,
everything.
God forbid the fucking
kids.
execs don't make 6 figures.
Well, like a small business, they don't have executives. You know, there's
Right,
like
no,
an
no,
owner.
but I'm talking about like the McDonald's people.
So
and all
how
that
will
shit,
these
'cause
families
they're
ever
Oh
usually the
yeah, I mean,
target.
obviously that would be preferable, but that's not going to happen.
By coyotes and lots of bad people, cartels, and they're brought here and they used to use them to get into our country. We now have as strong a border as we've ever had. We're over 400 miles of brand new wall. You see the numbers, and we let people in that have to come in legally, and they come in through. But how many cages? You know, they used to say, I built the cages, and then they had a picture in a certain newspaper. And there was a picture of these horrible cages, and they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them, and then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
That's a solid point.
Yes, we're working on it.
We built the cages.
Very hard. A lot of these kids come up without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes and
I'm
through
surprised they came all this way and haven't said Mexico once.
Quick response and another question.
These 500 plus kids came with parents. They separated them at the border to make it a disincentive to come to begin with. Big, real tough, really strong. And guess what? They came on, it's not coyotes that didn't bring them over, their parents were with them. They got separated.
He's got no response. Look at him.
And it makes us a laughing stock and violates every notion of who we are as a nation.
Let me ask you a question. They did it. We changed the policy. We did not.
No, you definitely did it, and you bragged about it too, bro.
Let's talk about
Interruption.
Let's talk about what we're talking about. What happened? Parents were ripped, their kids were ripped
So
from
wait a minute, is that true? Were the kids in cages from that picture, were they separated from their parents, or were they kids who came independently?
No, they were separated.
Nowhere to go.
So Obama administration separated the kids too.
Yeah, because you can do that because it's criminalized to cross the border.
They are so well taken care of. They're in facilities.
So then what
But
policy did Trump change then?
One question.
I mean, I guess the enforcement of, I mean, I don't even know because if you're still having
Let me ask about your
separation,
immigration policy.
Because
Mr.
Biden
Vice
seems to be
President. The
implying
Obama
that they
administration did
were
fail to deliver
not
immigration
separating
reform,
people?
which
Yeah,
had been
that
a
they were
key
just kids who
promise
ended
during
up
the
there
administration.
because
It
they had
also
been
presided over
Yeah,
record
but no.
deportations
smugglers and
as well as
stuff.
family detentions at the border
They're saying the
before
same
changing
thing.
course. So why should voters trust you with an immigration overhaul now?
Because we made a mistake. It took too long to get it right. It took too long to get it right. I'll be president of the United States, not vice president of the United States. And the fact is, I've made it very clear. Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented people. And all those so-called dreamers, those DACA kids, they're going to be immediately certified again to be able to stay in this country and put on a path to citizenship. The idea that they are being sent home by this guy and they want to do that is they're going to a country they've never seen before. I can imagine you're 5 years old, your parents are taking you across the Rio Grande River, and he says,
No, that's a start.
eligible.
And you say, oh, no, Mom,
that's a
leave me
start.
here. I'm not going to go with you.
Okay,
They've been
okay.
here.
Matt
Many
calls
of
that
them
one
are
off.
over
That's not what he was
20,000
doing in the
first
primary.
responders
Like,
out there taking care of
you
people
know,
during this crisis. We owe them.
that's probably the only
We
time I
owe
can
them.
remember hearing him actually stutter.
8 years to do what he said he was going to do. And I've changed without having a specific, we got rid of catch and release, we got rid of a lot of horrible things that they put in and that they lived with. But he had 8 years he was vice president. He did nothing except build cages to keep children in.
Oh, no.
The catch and release, you know what he's talking about there? If in fact you had a family came across or were arrested, they in fact were given a date to show up for their hearing. They were released, and guess what? They showed up for a hearing. This is the first president in the history of the United States of America that anybody seeking asylum has to do it in another country. That's never happened before in America. That's never happened before in America. You come to the United States and you make your case that you seek asylum based on the following premise: why I deserve it under American law. They're sitting in squalor on the other side of the river.
President Trump, your response in 30 seconds, and then
It
we'll
just
move on.
shows that he has no understanding of immigration laws. Catch and release is a disaster. A murderer would come in, a rapist would come in, a very bad person would come in.
And some of them were good people.
We have to release them into our country. And then you say they come back. Less than 1% of the people come back. We have to send ICE out and Border Patrol out to find them. We would say, come back.
I mean, I don't know the numbers on here, but I would imagine that Trump is full of shit about that 1% number.
I'm pretty sure.
When you say they come back, they don't come back, Joe.
I mean,
they never come back. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might
Oh,
come back.
shit.
Let's give Vice President Biden a chance to respond, and then we're going to move on to the
You
next
don't know the
section.
law, Joe.
So only dumb people follow the rules is what he's trying to imply?
Yeah.
Well, check it out. They don't come back.
Check it out.
All right, let's move
But
on
we don't have to
the
worry about it
next
because they
section.
terminated it. So we don't have to worry about it.
Interruption, Matt.
Yeah,
Interruption.
525 kids not knowing where in God's name they're going to be and lost their parent.
All right, let's talk about our next section, which is race in America. And I want to talk about the way Black and brown Americans experience race in this country. Part of that experience is something called the talk. It happens regardless of class and income. Parents who feel they have no choice but to prepare their children for the chance that they could be targeted, including by the police, for no reason other than the color of their skin. Mr. Vice President, in the next 2 minutes, I want you to speak directly to these families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
I do. You know, my daughter is a social worker, and she's written a lot about this. She has a graduate degree from the University of Pennsylvania in social work.
You know,
And,
I
you know,
wonder if part of that talk has
One of the
to do
reasons
with the
why I
system
ended
that
up
Biden
working on
set
the
up
east
with
side of
his
Wilmington,
crime
Delaware,
bill.
which is 90% African American, was to learn more about what was going on. What I did, I never had to tell my daughter if she's pulled over, make sure she puts.
I mean, I'm sure that talk predates the crime bill.
Put both hands on top of
The
the wheel.
No, I'm
experience.
sure,
and
but I
don't
wonder
reach
if
for the
part
glove
of that
box
talk
because someone
now
may shoot you.
has to do with the
But a
system.
black parent, no
I
matter
think
how
I would
wealthy
blame
or
him.
how
If I was
poor
going to
they
blame
are,
that on
have
Biden,
to
I would
teach
blame
their
it more on
child
the,
when
what's it
you're
called,
walking
that
down the
policy that
street,
sold the
don't have a hoodie
weapons
on
to
when you
the
go across the
cops.
street, making sure that you, in fact, if
The
you
cops,
get
it's like
pulled
they've been
over, just
actively
no, sir,
become more
hands on top
violent
of
in the
wheel,
past decade, you know,
because you are
since
in fact,
9/11.
a victim, whether you're a person making $300,000 a year person or someone who's on food stamps. The fact of the matter is there is institutional racism in America. And we have always said,
I bet you'd
we've
know.
never lived up to it, that we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created equal. But guess what? We have never, ever lived up to it, but we've all constantly been moving the needle further and further to inclusion, not exclusion. This is the first president to come along and says that's the end of that. We're not going to do that anymore. We have to provide for economic opportunity, better education, better health care, better access to schooling, better access to opportunity to borrow money to start businesses. All the things we can do, and I've laid out a clear plan as to how
Yeah,
to do
he
those
literally
things,
just said
just to give people a shot. It's about
only the
accumulating
low
ability to
IQ
have
ones
wealth
come
as well
back.
as
Yeah.
it is to be free from
Like his
violence.
worldview is you're only
President
like
Trump,
you're
same
a
question to you, and
rube.
let me
You're
remind
like
you
a
of
dumb
the
rube
question.
if
I would
you
like you
like
to
follow
speak
the law
directly
when
to
you're not
these
being
families.
forced
Do you
to.
understand why these parents fear for their children?
Yes, I do. And again, he's been in government 47 years. He never did a thing except in 1994.
Oh,
when
hit him
he
with it,
did
Trump.
Here
such
comes.
Hit him
harm
with it.
to the black community. And they were called, and he called them super predators.
He never
And
called
he
him
said
that. That's
that.
Hillary.
He said it, super predators. And they have never lived that down. 1994, your crime bill, the super predators.
Oh, that's
Nobody
why.
has done more
Yeah.
for the black community
That's
than
why there's
Donald Trump.
institutional
And if you
racism
look,
because he called them
with
super
the
predators.
Oh
exception
no, it's
of
probably has
Abraham
to do
Lincoln,
more with the
possible
bill,
exception,
bro.
but the exception of Abraham
It's
Lincoln,
like he says this shit
nobody
about the
has
crime
done
bill. If it was
what
up
I've
to
done.
him, he would
Criminal
make the crime
justice
bill
reform.
even stricter.
Yeah.
Obama
So I don't know what
and
he's
Joe
trying to say.
didn't
Hey,
do
but
it.
he's done more
I
for
don't
the
even
black
think they
community
tried
than
because they had
anybody
no
than
chance
Abraham
of doing
Lincoln,
it.
bro.
They might have wanted to do it, but if you had to see the arms I had to twist to get that done, it was not a
You
pretty
pardoned
picture.
like 3
And
people,
everybody
bro.
knows it, including some very liberal people that cried in my office. They cried in the Oval Office. 2 weeks later, they're out saying, gee, we have to defeat him. Criminal justice reform, prison reform, opportunity zones with Tim Scott, a great senator from
I got a black
South
friend.
Carolina.
You
He
should
came
see
in
him.
with this incredible idea for
He's
opportunity zones.
totally
It's
real.
one of the most successful programs. People don't talk about it. Tremendous investment is being made. Biggest beneficiary, the black and Hispanic communities, and then historically black colleges and universities.
He's like the first
After 3
Republican
years
to
of
talk
coming
about
to the
those
office, I love some of those guys. They were great.
What?
They came into the office
HBCUs.
and they said, I said,
Because he
what
has
do you do?
to.
After 3 years, I said, why do you keep coming back?
He wouldn't be talking
Because we
about
have
that
your
shit at
funding.
all
I
if he
said, you
didn't
don't have
have
to come
to.
back every year. We have to come back because President Obama would never give them long-term funding.
Obama.
And I did. 10-year long-term funding, and I gave them more money than they asked for because they said, I think you need more. And I said, the only bad part about this is I may never see you again because I got very friendly with them, and they like me and I like them. But I saved it. Colleges and universities.
Okay, and we're going to talk about both of your records, but your response to that, Vice
My
President.
response to that is I never, ever said what he accused me of saying. The fact of the matter is, in 2000, though, after the crime bill had been in the law for a while, this is the guy who said the problem with the crime bill, there's not enough people in jail. There's not enough people in jail. And go on my website, get the quote, the date when he said it. Not enough people. He talked about marauding gangs, young gangs, and the people who are going to maraud our cities. This is a guy who in the Central Park five innocent black kids, he continued to push for making sure that they got the death penalty. None of them were guilty of the crimes they were suggested. Look, and talk about granted, he did in fact let 20 people, he commuted 20 people's sentences. We commuted over 1,000 people's sentences. Over 1,000. The very law he's talking about is a law that, in fact, initiated by Barack Obama. And secondly, we're in a situation where the federal prison system was reduced by 38,000 people under our administration. And one of the things we should be doing, there should be no minimum mandatories in the law. That's why I'm offering $20 billion to states to change their state laws to eliminate minimum mandatories and set up drug courts. No one should be going to jail because they have a drug problem. They should be going to rehabilitation, not to jail. We should fundamentally change the system, and that's what I'm going to do.
Why didn't you do it 4 years ago? Why didn't you do that 4 years ago, even less than that? Why didn't you, Vice President, you keep talking about all these things you're going to do, and you're going to do this, but you were there just a short time ago, and you guys did nothing. We did our job. I ran because of you. I ran because of Barack Obama. Because you did a poor job. If I thought you did a good job, I would never run. I ran because of you.
I'm looking at you now. You're a politician. I ran because of you.
All right, Vice President Biden, in response to that, and then I do have some questions for both of you.
I mean, he did, though, to an extent, because he had such a deep-seated hatred for Obama.
You know who I am. You know who he is. You know his character. You know my character. You know our reputations for honor and telling the truth. I am anxious to have this race. I am anxious to see this take place. I am the character of the countries on the ballot. Our characters on the ballot. Look at us closely.
Let me ask some follow-up. Please respond, and then we're going to have
Stuff is true about Russia, Ukraine, China, other countries, Iraq. If this is true, then he's a corrupt politician. So don't give me the stuff about how you're this innocent baby. Joe, they're calling you a corrupt politician. Nobody.
President Trump, I want to stay on the issue of race. We're talking about race.
From hell.
President Trump, we're talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
That's an interruption.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what this he's accusing me of is a Russian plan.
Russia.
They have said that this has all the five former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax? Exactly what this is. Exactly what this is. Where he's going. The laptop is Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
We're going to get with Russia.
We're going to do on the issue of race. Mr. President, you described the Black Lives Matter movement as a symbol of hate. You shared a video of a man chanting white power to millions of your supporters. You've said that black professional athletes exercising their First Amendment rights should be fired. What do you say to Americans who say that kind of language from a president is contributing to a climate of hate and racial strife?
Well, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter,
I was going to tell the fried Mike Bacon story.
pigs in a blanket talking about police.
That's what he says every time.
Talking about our police.
One time I heard these protesters and they were not nice. They said something very mean about the cops.
And they were marching down the street. And that was
So that means they're Marxist terrorists.
glimpse of Black Lives Matter. I thought it was a terrible thing. As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people.
Like you have a handful of like rich black people that you're civil with
What do you say to Americans
sometimes.
who are concerned by that rhetoric?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I
You mean his African American over there?
Reform and opportunity zones. I took care of black colleges. And
You like did a photo op with like Kanye and Tim Scott one
They can
time.
say anything. I mean,
You're like,
they can say
you know,
anything. It's a
like
very,
MLK.
it makes me sad because I am the least racist person. I can't even see the audience.
So you're a
because
little
it's
bit
so dark.
racist.
But I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this room.
Let me ask you very quickly, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents
thanks for
we've had
that.
in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire.
Sorry, that
Every
was the
single
truth.
one. Started
Stand
off
back
his
and stand
campaign
by.
coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists. He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims. He has moved around and made everything worse across the board. He says about the poor boys. Last time we were in
Poor
boys.
he
boys,
said, I
poor
told him to
boys.
stand
That's
down
I'll give
and
that an
stand erect.
unintelligible
Come on.
drink,
This guy is
Matt.
a dog whistle
Drink.
about big as a foghorn.
President Trump, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to respond, and then I have a follow-up.
He made a reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in? I mean,
You said Abraham Lincoln. Where did that? No. I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community. And I didn't say I'm Abraham Lincoln. I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community. Now, you have done nothing other than the crime bill, which put tens of thousands of
Oh, back to the crime bill.
men mostly in jail.
All right, let me ask Vice President
Oh,
Biden.
they're interrupting each other, bro.
Let
Come
me
on,
ask Vice
come on. You're
President
falling
Biden
behind over there.
Very, very bad.
I'm sorry, bro.
Take a look at what's happening out
Vice
there.
President Biden, let me give you a chance to respond within this context. Crime bills that you supported in the 80s and 90s contributed to the incarceration of tens of thousands of young black men who had small amounts of drugs in their possession. They are sons, they are brothers, they're fathers, they're uncles, whose families are still to this day, some of them suffering the consequences. So speak to those families. Why should they vote for you?
One of the things is that in the 80s, we passed 100%, all 100 senators voted for it, a bill on drugs and how to deal with drugs. It was a mistake. I've been trying to change the since then, particularly the portion on cocaine. That's why I've been arguing that in fact,
Because it
we
applies to my
cannot
son.
send anyone anyone to jail for a pure drug offense. They should be going into treatment across the board. That's what we should be spending money. That's why I said drug courts, which are never funded by our Republican friends. They should not be going to jail for a drug or an alcohol problem. They should be going into treatment. That's what we've been trying to do. That's what's going to get done because I think maybe the American people have now seen that in fact it was a mistake to pass those laws related to drugs. But they were not in a crime bill.
But why didn't they get it done? See, it's all talk, no action with these politicians. Why didn't they get it done?
What did you get done, man? What are you talking about?
You were vice president
Here we go, bro.
along with Obama as
What?
your president.
Malibu.
For 8 years. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years to get it done. Now you're saying you're going to get it done because you're all talk and no action.
We got a lot of it done. We released 38,000 prisoners left from the
nothing done.
38,000 prisoners were released from federal prison. There were over 1,000 people who were given clemency. In fact, we're the ones that put in the legislation saying we could look at pattern and practice of police departments and what they were doing, how they were conducting themselves. I could go on, but we began the process. We lost an election. That's why I'm running to win back that election and change this terrible policy.
Why didn't you do it in the 8 years, a short time ago? Why didn't you do it? You just said, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. You put tens of thousands of mostly black young men in prison. Now you're saying you're going to do that. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years with Obama. You know what, Joe? Because you're all talk and no action.
All right, Vice President Biden, then we're going to move on to the next session.
In the Republican Congress.
There's been no commercials.
Yeah, I was waiting for commercials here.
Okay.
I guess this one's uninterrupted.
All right.
How much longer is this thing?
We're going to move on to our next section.
I don't know.
Justice reform.
Gentlemen,
I talked Democrats into it.
so we got to get on to climate change, please. You both have very different visions on climate change. President Trump, you say that environmental regulations have hurt jobs in the energy sector. Vice President Biden, you have said you see addressing climate change as an opportunity to create new jobs. For each of you, how would you both combat climate change and support job growth at the same time, starting with you, President Trump? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So we have the Clean Trees program. We have so many different programs. I do love the environment, but what I want is the cleanest, crystal clear water.
What?
The cleanest air. We have the best, lowest number in carbon emissions, which is
Air is going to be so clean, folks.
goes with all the
It's going to be so clean. You won't believe
I
it.
haven't heard Joe use the term because I'm not sure he knows what it represents or means, but I have heard
You won't
him use
believe
it.
this air.
And we have the best
Carbon emission numbers that we've had in 35 years under this administration. We are working so well.
Wait, is that true?
But here's what we can't do.
What? What did he say?
They have the best carbon emissions in 35 years.
Look at India.
I mean,
Filthy. The air is
it might be. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I mean, we have less coal than we had 35 years ago, but
and we were
like,
treated very unfairly.
I saw some stat before recently. It's something like 25% of all the carbon in the atmosphere is from like the last 20 years or something, the last 15 years.
Tens of millions of jobs, thousands and thousands
I mean, we
of
might,
companies because of
we're probably producing less carbon per,
China doesn't
power plant or whatever, like per unit of energy produced.
Oh, China, bro. Time to drink.
It would have destroyed our businesses. So, you ready? We have done an incredible job environmentally. We have the cleanest air, the cleanest water, and the best carbon emission standards that we've seen in many, many years.
Vice President
And we haven't destroyed our industries.
Vice President Biden, 2 minutes to you uninterrupted.
Man, this shit kicks, man. I didn't think that shit kicked like that.
Essential threat to humanity.
Supposed to be pineapple rum.
Obligation to deal with it. And we're told by all the leading scientists in the world we don't have much time. we're going to pass the point of no return within the next 8 to 10 years. 4 years of this man eliminating all the regulations that were put in by us to clean up the climate, to limit the emissions, will put us in a position where we're going to be in real trouble. Here's where we have a great opportunity. I was able to get both all the environmental organizations as well as labor, people worried about jobs, to support my climate plan. Because what it does, it will create millions of new
21% alcohol by
for
volume.
example, 50,000 charging stations on our highways so that we can own the electric car market in the future. In the meantime, China
I ain't gonna
is
lie,
doing that.
if I had the cash, I'd probably still go for fucking Impala over a Tesla.
Why?
I like the Impala.
Saving hundreds of millions of barrels
Why?
of oil in the
I've
process.
always
Have you ever driven a Tesla though?
Yeah.
Everything I
wait.
hear about him is
Wait,
like
what?
driving a
I
fucking.
drove an Impala,
What this
not
is
a
all going to do,
Tesla.
it's going to create millions of jobs.
An Impala's
And it's
not
going to
electric.
clean the environment. Our
Yeah, that's
health
why I said if
and
I
our
had the cash, I'd
jobs
probably
are
spend
at
money on a
stake.
souped up
That's what's
Impala.
happening. And what right
Why
now,
though?
by the way, Wall Street
Like,
firms indicated that
you buy it
my
once and you don't have to buy
plan-
gas ever again.
my
You plug it
plan
in when you
will
get
in
home,
fact
and that's that.
create
That's
18.6
true.
million
You
jobs,
save, you make the money
7
back.
million
Like
more
as
than
soon as I
this is from
get
Wall
it,
Street,
you know, as soon as I can afford it, I'm
I'll
buying a
create
Tesla.
$1 trillion
Matt, you
more
make
in
a
economic
sound
growth
argument.
than his proposal does.
Hold on a second, I
Not
gotta
on
pick.
climate, just on the economy.
President Trump, here
Today came out and said very strongly, $6,500 will be taken away from families under his plan. That his plan is an economic disaster. If you look at what he wants to do, if you look at his plan, developed it, AOC plus 3. They know nothing about the climate. I mean, she's got a good line of stuff, but she knows nothing about the climate. And they're all hopping through hoops for
AOC knows
AOC
more about
plus
the
3.
fucking climate than you ever
Their real
did.
plan costs $100 trillion. If we had the best year in the history of our country for 100 years, we would not even come close to a number like that. When he says buildings, they want to take buildings down because they want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. As far as they're concerned, if you had no window, it would be a lovely thing. This is the craziest plan that anybody has ever seen. And this wasn't done by smart people. This wasn't done by anybody. Frankly, I don't even know how it can be good. They want to spend $100 trillion. That's their real number. He's trying to say it was 6. It's $100 trillion. They want to knock down buildings and build new buildings with little, tiny, small windows. I mean, and many other things.
Okay.
And many other things.
Let me have the Vice President respond, and we're running out of time, and we have a lot more
It will
questions to
destroy
get
our
to.
country.
So let's hear from the Vice President. I have number one question.
I don't know where he comes from. I don't know where he comes up with these numbers.
I think he was. Well, I think he's from New York.
Dollars. Give me a break. This plan was endorsed by every major environmental group, every labor group.
You had the.
Labor.
You missed the AOC shout out, bro.
And us being able to breathe. And they know their jobs
What did I miss?
Yeah, Trump was calling out AOC.
in America.
Oh. And what did Biden say?
You don't know anything about the environment.
Solar energy and wind. He thinks wind
What?
causes cancer in windmills. It's the
She doesn't know anything about the environment,
and they pay
folks.
good prevailing wages.
She doesn't.
$45-50 an
I know
hour.
more about the
We
environment than
can grow
AOC.
and we can be cleaner if we go the route I'm proposing.
President Trump,
Excuse me.
please
We
respond, and then I have
are
a follow-up.
energy independent for the first time. We don't need all of these countries that we had to fight war over because we needed their energy. We are energy independent. I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely expensive, kills all the birds, it's very intermittent.
He's right about the
Birds,
birds.
not
And they
the
happen to make the
birdies.
windmills in both Germany and China, and the fumes coming up, if you're a believer in carbon emission, the fumes coming up to make these massive windmills is more than anything that we're talking
The
about.
cancerous windmills,
Which is very
folks.
clean. One other thing.
They're cancerous. They're cancerous. They
Solar
cause
doesn't quite have
cancer
it yet. It's not
because they're
powerful enough
windmills.
to really run our big, beautiful factories that we need to compete with the world. So it's all a pipe dream. But you know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest economy in the world, but if you want to kill the economy, get rid of your oil industry. You want, and what about fracking?
All right, let me
back to fracking.
Fracking sucks, bro. Fracking
Never
ruins
said
shit
I
and
oppose fracking.
causes
You said it on
earthquakes.
tape.
I did show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website. The fact of the matter is, he's flat lying.
Would you
Flat-
rule out banning fracking?
I do rule out banning fracking because the answer we need other industries to transition to get to ultimately a complete zero emissions by 2025. What I will do with fracking over time is make sure that we can capture the emissions from the fracking, capture the emissions from gas. We can do that, and we can do that by
Dude, just
investing money.
70% of the
It's a
country supports it.
transition.
Why do you have to do
One
this?
more question in this pod, and then we
It's
maybe
so
have-
dumb. Like, they
against
keep saying
fracking. He
Pennsylvania.
said it.
It's like he
I will
believes
show
every
that to you
bad faith
tomorrow.
attack that Trump throws at
I am
him.
against fracking. Until he got the nomination, went to Pennsylvania, then he said, but you know what, Pennsylvania? He'll be against it very soon.
Pennsylvania
because his
is
party
for banning
totally
it.
against
Like,
Yeah,
on federal
idiot.
land, I said no fracking.
just the donors aren't.
Oil on
Look, I
federal
want
land.
to
Let me ask
support
this
you,
final
Joe.
question
Just say
in this
yes. I
section,
hate
and then I want to
fracking.
move on to our final section. President Trump, people of color are much more likely to live near oil refineries and chemical plants. In Texas, there are families who worry the plants near them are making them sick.
Bro,
Your administration has
if you
rolled
go to
back
Midland
regulations
and
on these
Odessa
kinds of
out here, the
facilities.
whole
Why should
city
these
smells like
families
the
give
gas
you another
station.
4 years in office?
The families that we're talking about are
Like the whole
employed
city.
heavily, and they're
Imagine
making a
being
lot
in a
of money,
spot
more
where
money
the
than they've ever
whole
made.
place smells like
If
oil.
you look at the kind of numbers that we produce for Hispanic, for Black, for Asian, it's 9 times greater the percentage gain than it was under, in 3 years, than it was under 8 years of the two of them, to put it nicely. 9 times more.
What? What is that? Put it nicely? What is
Somebody
that?
lives, I have not heard the numbers or the statistics that you're saying, but they're making a tremendous amount of money economically. We saved it. And I saved it again a number of months ago when oil was crashing because of the pandemic. Okay, we saved it. We got a relationship. We got Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Russia to cut back way back. We saved the oil industry, and now it's very vital. Everybody is very expensive gasoline.
Vice President Biden, your response, and then we're going to have a final question for both of you.
My response is that those people live on what they call fence lines. You don't understand this. They live near chemical plants that in fact pollute, chemical plants and oil plants and refineries that pollute. I used to live near that when I was growing up in Claremont, Delaware. And all the more oil refineries in Marcus Hook and the Delaware River than there is any place, including in Houston at the time. When my mom get in the car and when we were first frost to drive me to school, turn the windshield up, there'd be oil slick in the window. That's why so many people in my state were dying and getting cancer. The fact is, those frontline communities, it doesn't matter what you're paying, it matters how you keep them safe. What do you do? And you impose restrictions on the pollutions that the pollutants coming out of those fence line communities.
Okay, I have one final
Would you
question.
close down the oil industry? Would you
Interruption.
Transition from the oil industry, yes.
Drink for that one.
Because I would stop.
Why would you do that?
Because the oil industry pollutes significantly. So here's the deal. But let's fix that. Well, if you let me finish the statement, because it has to be replaced
Oh,
by
there's another
renewable
interruption,
energy
Matt.
over
There you
time.
go.
Over time, and I'd stop giving
Good.
to the
There
oil
you go,
industry.
Joe.
I'd stop giving them federal subsidies. He won't give federal subsidies to the gas. Excuse me, to
Look at Joe.
solar and wind.
There's
Why would we give it
there's
to
the
oil industry?
We actually do
All
go
right.
to solar and wind.
We
And
have
that's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay,
Because
we have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question.
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you
Okay.
remember that, Pennsylvania,
Vice
Oklahoma?
President Biden, let me give you 10 seconds to respond, and I have to get to the final question. Vice President Biden.
Takes everything out of context, but the point is, look, we have to move toward a net zero emissions. The first place to do that by the year 2035 is in energy production, by 2050 totally.
All right.
interruption.
Join Paris Accord, China, abide by what they do.
This is about leadership, gentlemen. And this first question does go to you, President Trump. Imagine this is your inauguration day. What will you say in your address to Americans who did not vote for you? You'll each have 1 minute, starting with you.
We have to make our country totally successful as it was prior to the plague coming in from China. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're doing record numbers, 11.4 million jobs in a short period of time, etc. But I will tell you, go back. Before the plague came in, just before, I was getting calls from people that were not normally people that would call me. They wanted to get together. We had the best black unemployment numbers in the history of the country. Hispanic, women, Asian, people with diplomas, with no diplomas, MIT graduates, the one and the best. Everybody had the best numbers. And you know what? The other side wanted to get together. They wanted to unify. Success is going to bring us together. We are on the road to success. But I'm cutting taxes, and he wants to raise everybody's taxes, and he wants to put new regulations on everything. He will kill it. If he gets in, you will have a depression the likes of which you've never seen.
We already have a depression the likes we've never seen.
Very, very sad day for this country.
All right. Vice President Biden, same question to you. What will you say during your inaugural address to Americans who did not vote for you?
I will say
To the
I'm
gulag
an
with
American
you.
president. I represent all of you, whether you voted for me or against me.
No.
And I'm going to make sure that you're represented. I'm going to give you hope. We're going to move. We're going to choose science over fiction. We're going to choose hope over fear. We're going to choose to move forward because there are enormous opportunities to make things better. We can grow this economy. We can deal with the systemic racism. And at the same time, we can make sure that our economy is being run and moved and motivated by clean energy, creating millions of new jobs. And that's the fact. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to say, as I said in the beginning, what is on the ballot here is the character of this country. Decency, honor, respect, treating people with dignity, making sure that everyone has an even chance. And I'm going to make sure you get that. You haven't been getting it the last 4 years.
All right. I want to thank you both for a very robust hour and a half, a fantastic debate. Really appreciate it. President Trump, former Vice President Joe Biden, thank you to Belmont University for hosting us tonight. And most importantly, thank you to those watching tonight. Election Day is November 3rd. Don't forget
So no
to
break?
vote. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
No break. They went straight through. They went straight through on one take, bro.
And there you have it, the second
What do you
Trump and Joe Biden.
Matt.
Be up late
What?
tonight.
I'm drunk, bro, so you gotta help me out here.
Talk about that in a moment.
Oh, man.
But, what we saw there, much different.
I want to ask
So on the last
something
debate, we saw two
debate
Donald
related,
Trumps. The
and I'm
flashes,
thinking
maybe
I'm
one
missing the obvious question.
a little more combative, talking over, but certainly a lot more restrained than we saw. First
Oh,
Yeah, and we had a real debate.
so who do you think won?
There were policies
Biden
discussed,
won.
there was back and forth.
Yeah.
Trump sounds like a fucking dumbass Facebook grandpa. Like, it's like,
I concur. I concur. I think I think Trump's attacks, even if they land, don't hurt him where they need to hurt. They don't hurt Biden where they need to hurt Biden.
yeah, like the corruption stuff didn't really stick. None of the stuff he really threw at him kind of really stuck.
No.
Like it was all kind of.
I
just-
think
He was
Biden's
just giving these like half-formed, like he did this thing bad, and didn't really like hammer it and explain it in a way that people get. Like that doesn't
That's
count.
why I don't think his attacks were effective. I think Biden's attacks were effective. I think people are still going to be stuck on the main issue, which is COVID. They're going to be stuck on the economy, and Trump is looking pretty damn weak on both. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
My leg fell asleep
Like-
somehow.
Yeah, man. Trump's basically saying like, "Oh, you want to shut down the economy and people are dying, like
You want
people
to
are
shut
dying
down
everywhere."
the economy, folks. Wait,
And he's
no.
like, "You want to be too cautious,"
Joe.
and he's like, "Well, fuck, man. What are you doing? You're doing nothing. Like people are dying all across the country. Like spikes are coming everywhere."
1,000 people a day or more are dying. There's so many people just rolling over dead from freaking COVID, and they're still turning this shit into. I mean, he's still out there trying to turn COVID into a wedge issue, turn masks into a political issue.
Yeah.
He's gonna still have to own it. It's a stain on his presidency how he handled COVID. He could have handled it much differently. So I think that's still sticking with him. And I think as far as the debate performance, Joe was a lot more with it. He was quicker than I thought, and he was quicker than the first debate.
What?
I think Joe was a lot more with it, and he was quicker than in the first debate, I thought, too.
He was a doddering old man, but
I don't think he was as doddering as usual. Or look, it's either that or I just got really drunk. And
yeah, I think you're wasted. Like, he was just as bad. It's just that, like, without Trump interrupting him, he.
That's what it seemed like. It like, because he wasn't getting interrupted as much, so it didn't take him time to go and be like,
yeah, like if you leave him alone to talk for himself for a few minutes, he starts not making sense. You know.
Yeah. So I mean, no, I figure that's a solid. I mean, at this point, Trump's on an average of 9 points down, about 8 to 9 points down on the RCP average. He is in jeopardy of losing Georgia, Texas, and Arizona, when he still needs to hang on to Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio.
I mean, I think when you count in all the suppression and all that, I think it'll end up being pretty close. But yeah, I mean, he needed to have Joe like crap his pants and like walk off stage. Like, he needed to have him like implode. Like, he can't.
Right. I mean, at this point, that's what he needs. I don't think. Look, all this October surprise bullshit with Hunter didn't land. If anything, it made Biden look like a better dad than we thought.
And it's like between that and the like Nelly Orr stuff, like the stuff with like, you know, the Obamagate stuff he keeps trying to go back to. It's like nobody who's not completely brain poisoned cares at all about that stuff.
No.
Right? Like,
no, he's either playing to the crowd or he's trying to play Biden into a stereotype, and either way, it doesn't help him. Either way.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty sad. Yeah. It's just not a lot of accountability for him either. All right, do you think we could go on? Was that other stream still up, or were you gonna be able to do that?
I don't know. I mean, I DM'd him, but let me see. You're probably all wasted now.
Yeah. I can get with it. But I'm glad we did get to go through the whole drinking game this time without a hitch. So this one was a pretty potent drinking game from what they were selecting. A lot of Chinas and Russias. I think that was the part of the debate that really made it difficult in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you want to wrap it up? I don't think anybody's watching, so.
Yeah, we all get to watch this back. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you, if you didn't get to watch the debate and you were watching it for the first time with us, that would be even cooler. That would be something. Play along. It was awesome. But I guess until the next round, we will be back with another edition.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night probably. I mean,
that's right.
You know.
We will be on Twitch because we are Twitch streamers.
Yeah, man.
All right. Later.
Later.